On a headline, expecting up 0.3, up 0, goose egg, unched. Boy, that is progress. We haven't had a number that low. Well, we equaled it in July of last year when we had another 0. To find a lower number, you're back to October of 23 at minus 0.4. Strip out the all-important food and energy, down 0.1. Down 0.1. That's 0.4 lower than expectations. Down 0.1 also equals July of last year. Find a lower number, you're going back to COVID times, April of 2020.
What we're seeing right now is the Democrats even worse off than they were before. Death spiral. Complete death spiral. Especially with today's news. Today's news was absolutely fantastic. And the reason why it is so fantastic is because the contrast at this point is so easy for everybody to see. It's amazing. So let me show you a couple of things what I'm talking about. Peter St. Ange posted this earlier. Excuse me. Biden's last inflation report before he left was 5.7%. Trump's first inflation report annualized is 2.4. You don't have to be a math wizard to see the contrast. Trump's inflation report is half of what, less than half of what Joe Biden's was at the end of his term, and Trump's been on the job, for a couple, 8 weeks, and he's already broken him. So thus far, just so you people keeping score at home, if you want to tell your lib friends, the inflation, half. Gas prices, down. Oil prices and energy, down. Eggs, down. War, just about done with. And it's been 7 weeks. And what the hell are you people complaining about? You got nothing. Everybody can see it. There's no hiding it at this point going, hey man, this guy really stepped in and took care of some business, didn't he? Oh yeah. And it's only been 7 weeks. I would hate to be in the newsroom of some of these left-wing crazy things because they have to make stuff up when the data smacks you right in the face. When Peter put this together, and this is a percent of changes in the CPI, Consumer Price Index, of all urban consumers, U.S. city average. And you can just see it. All items, food at home, energy, and it's all right there. And the comparison couldn't be starker. So how do you combat that if you're a Democrat? Lie. That's it. That's all you can do is lie, because there's nothing else for you to say. When the only message you have is a lie, you're in big trouble. I mean, just stupendous trouble. And it just keeps getting worse for them every single day. They complain about the tariffs, he wins. EU just decided they're going to dump like 50% tariffs. So what? I don't need anything you got. He's going to hit them back as well, and he's going to bring them to their knees. That's the problem these people are having. They don't like the strength that Trump is exhibiting. They don't like masculinity and testosterone. The whole toxic masculinity. Why is Trump punching them so hard? They don't like that Tom Homan has cleaned up the border mess in literally 7 or 8 weeks. It's down to just about 0. How did that happen? I thought Joe Biden said there's nothing I can do. Congress needs to send me something. Well, Trump turned it off. The contrast is too striking. That's why the media at this point has nothing to talk about. We can't talk about the price of eggs anymore. Nope. How about gas? Nope. Mortgage rate? Nope, not mortgage rates. Stock market? It's being manipulated, but even that, not really. Border? Nope. Okay, let's lie about some stuff.
I'm very happy with is oil is down to $65 a barrel, and that's faster than I would have intended. We put on the gas, we stepped in the gas in order to get oil, and what's happening. So we're getting that down. When energy comes down, prices are going to be coming down with it. So in a very short period of time, we've done a very good job. I don't know if you saw a little thing like the cost of eggs, little to you, but big to people out there, down almost 30%. The last few days, we got it down. We did a lot of things. We have a great Secretary of Agriculture, and we did a lot of things that got the cost of eggs down very substantially. And financially, we'll be stronger than ever before. I think the markets are going to soar when they see what's happening. I'll tell you what, I'm called every day by numerous big companies. I spoke at the Business Roundtable yesterday. They had the largest attendance they've ever had. And these are only the CEOs and chairmen, but mostly the people that run the boss, the people that run the top 150 companies. 150 people showed up. Every single company showed up. First time it ever happened. It's been around a long time. The biggest business leaders. We had a great discussion. Went really well. And I want to tell you, there's tremendous optimism out there about our country in terms of regulations being cut, in terms of taxes being cut. And it would be great if the Democrats would do what's right. It would be great if the Democrats would do what's right for our country for a change, because they really are. They've lost their way.
They've lost their way. That is a really good statement. They've completely lost it. And I understand, again, we're talking national averages here. It may not, what they say, objects in the mirror may vary. Maybe your local area is not. And there can be a number of different reasons why that's the case, including your local state government. What kind of things are they doing? Sorry, I can't speak to California. Can't speak to the Northeast. Don't know how that government's working and what they're tacking on to all these prices. But I'm telling you, down here and nationally, things are down 30%. Gas, way down. I mean, way down. And we live in down here in Florida, we live in a very populated area in South Florida, and we're seeing it already. So I don't know if Ron DeSantis has lowered some of the sales taxes or whatever. Things are different. And it's now on a national basis that people are seeing this. So it's not me, it's all over. Everybody is saying this. And like President Trump just said, the Democrats need to get it together. They don't really have much of an option at this point.
We begin here tonight with the tit-for-tat tariffs.
President Trump started the day by retaliating for a 25% surcharge on Canadian electricity that lights up homes in Minnesota, Michigan, and New York. He hit back hard, smashing a 50% tariff over the border on Canadian aluminum and steel.
Premier Doug Ford of Ontario responded by rescinding the electricity surcharge, as well as his threat to cut off power entirely.
The president was up next. Late today, he reduced the 50% metals tariff to 25%.
For investors, it was like watching a tennis match. At one point, the major stock indexes were off about 1.5% before recovering some of their losses by the close of trading.
Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes talked to one of the generals in the trade war, Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick. Nancy?
John, good evening. Lutnick insisted today that President Trump's unpredictable tariff moves will actually benefit the economy by year's end. But consumer confidence is falling right along with the markets.
Our country had to do this.
His announcement this morning caught the financial world off guard. 50% tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum. But by this afternoon, it was off after Ontario's premier agreed to drop his new 25% tariff on electricity going to the U.S.
We have both.
So it worked. The entire premise of your report it was wrong. If the tariffs don't work, why did Ford from Ontario waved the white flag so quickly? Why did the markets recover so quickly? You needed to amend your report, because obviously what you are reporting is that Trump indeed won. He did show confidence to consumers.
Agreed. Let cooler heads prevail.
By then, however, the Dow had tumbled another 1%. Since Thursday, it has fallen more than 2.5%.
The markets are going to learn. Let the deal maker make his deals.
Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick brokered today's truce with the Ontario Premier.
What is really being accomplished with all of these 1 or 2 day tariffs that end up getting yanked?
Well, when you're negotiating with someone and they're not paying attention and they're disagreeing, the president, who's the best deal maker ever to sit in that chair, is going to say, here's my response. And then all of a sudden, shockingly, they respond.
And yet the prospect of an aggressive trade war has prompted both J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs to bump up the risk of a recession this year.
Will these policies be worth it if they lead to a recession, even a short?
Interesting that she didn't ask that about Biden's economy. We're 6 weeks in, 7 weeks in right now. And what President Trump is doing is trying to basically stimulate the economy. What was working is not working. I mean, what wasn't working, we cannot continue because it wasn't working. So in order to stimulate the economy, you've got to change things up. They never mentioned, I showed it last night, they never mentioned all of the tariffs on products that Canada has on America. When Trump says reciprocity and reciprocal tariffs, he's talking about leveling the playing field. But for some reason, I don't know if they're that anti-American, these people in the media don't want to talk and don't want you to know what the reciprocity of these tariffs will cause. When they say short-term pain, they're not defining what short-term is. Short-term in terms of Canada could have been yesterday. It's pretty much over. Now, once you go ahead and do something against us, we're going to hit you back with more and more tariffs. So the term of the volatility isn't being caused by just Trump going in chaos. He's looking at what you're doing. He's punching, he's counterpunching. I don't think the media, well, no, they understand. They hope you don't understand. So it's going to look like this because right now people are manipulating the stocks. They're trying to see which ones are going to make it, which ones aren't going to make it. That's why after Trump raised it back on Canada, and we're like, whoa, hey, it went down. Then when Canada waved the white flag, what happened? It went back up. Like, okay, we weathered that storm. We're going to be okay. And then, bam, they tried to do some more, and then Trump turned around and hit him again. When you're trying to take a shot at the big dog, you're going to give it everything you got. And just like watching anything else, a tennis match, you're waiting to see where things are going to end up. But if you know you have the superior team on the field, the superior player, it's a foregone conclusion. They are lying to you when they're saying it's chaotic and all these things are going to happen. If you know, without any doubt, that you have the superior team on the field, as long as you don't make any fumbles or interceptions, other than that, you are most likely going to win. It's not chaotic. They are trying to make you think it's chaotic. Again, look at who freaks out and who doesn't. Trump, Elon, Howard Lutnick, they're all smiles. They know they have a superior team. They've got the cards, as Trump likes to say. Hey, I'm gonna, just do what I can, and I'm gonna buy a bunch of Teslas. And Elon's like, yeah, we're gonna double the production. And Apple comes in, hey, we're gonna drop $500 billion. And this company comes in and says, hey, we're gonna do $20 billion. Are you hearing those announcements for companies in, I don't know, Canada, Mexico, any place in Europe? Are you hearing those broad movements? That's your clue. Why are they not making huge announcements in these other countries that all of a sudden we're so pissed off at Trump, we're gonna do business here? You're not hearing that. All they're talking about is the way the tariffs are going. As Trump fires his salvo and as he sends out the missiles per se, financial missiles. They're hitting. And then the flag gets waved, and everybody's like, oh, okay, so it's going to be okay. It's already going to be okay. You people are just lying to each other.
Term recession.
These policies are the most important thing America has ever had.
So it is worth it.
It is worth it. I don't think the only reason there could possibly be a recession is because of the Biden nonsense that we had to live with. These policies produce revenues.
So you're saying when it looks chaotic and unpredictable from the outside, that there actually is a master plan when it comes to these tariffs?
She's a flippin' idiot. So you think when it looks chaotic to you that there's some kind of master plan to this? No, he's just, he wakes up one morning and he's throwing darts at the board, you flippin' moron. Of course there's a plan. The problem is you just never saw it acted out before. The guy, the dementia patient that you saw wandering around couldn't do any of this. He had no idea about business. And obviously, if you're still questioning, is there a plan? No, I don't have a plan. I'm just back looking at a crystal ball, and a crystal ball saying, hey, go put tariffs on Canada. These people are insufferable. The questions that the media ask, you're sitting there with one of the president's, right-hand people, and you're asking him, so is there really a plan here, or are you guys just, shooting from the hip? Seriously? You're sitting there talking to a billionaire? You're sitting there talking to somebody who rebuilt his company after 9/11, is still taking care of many, many, many families that got hurt in 9/11. You're talking about a guy who had tons of money, saw his entire company destroyed and rebuilt it, and you're asking him, and a guy whose name is all over the sky in New York, whether he has a plan? Tell me CBS hasn't hired people that stupid.
Is not chaotic, and the only one who thinks it's chaotic is someone who's being silly. He said reciprocal tariffs.
Nobody expected him to announce 50% tariffs this morning.
He needed to break some guy in Ontario who said he was going to tax American energy 25%. The president...
Did you catch those words? That's why the little lady here who's not used to talking to men didn't understand. Nobody thought this. That's because he had to break him. At that point, the people on the left, when they heard that, would just probably go into conniptions. What do you mean? I'm not looking to ask any boxer. You looking at? No, I'm looking to take you out. I'm looking to break you. I'm not doing this for fun. I'm looking to dominate you. What don't these people understand? He's telling you the words. We're looking to break him. Break him. Whenever I played football, one of the first things that my coach always told me is, when you come out the gate, those first couple of plays, you better hit as hard as you possibly can, because you want to put doubt in that guy's mind. Guess what the rest of the day is going to look like for you? The rest of the day for you, the next 2 or 3 hours, is going to be hell. It's funny, I'm looking down as if I'm looking at a guy's helmet. The next 3 hours, I'm going to be all over you. I am going to try and break your will. I'm going to try my best to make sure you don't want to line up against me. That's what I was taught. You guys used to watch Mike Tyson's fights. What was the joke? Which one's the referee? Because I'm knocking the other out. I'm not here to play with you. I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to take you out. And Howard Lutnick just said it. You want to break somebody? Oh yeah, I want to break him. Break him. That hurt? Sorry.
United States in the White House says, oh, no, you won't, and breaks him. And you think that's chaotic?
Okay, Nancy, so after all that, where do we stand tonight?
Well, Maurice, we're back to where we were essentially this weekend, which is the U.S. has imposed 25% tariffs on some Canadian goods, and Canada has responded in kind. And Lutnick says Trump is still on track to impose reciprocal tariffs on countries around the globe in early April, which means whatever they tax us, we tax them, which will likely lead to a lot more standoffs like the one we saw today.
Nancy, the Commerce Secretary says this is all worth it. Remind us what the it is, which is to say, what's all this supposed to accomplish?
Well, President Trump's theory is that if he taxes goods coming from overseas, that it will incentivize companies to move production back to the United States, which will create American jobs. But to make big decisions like that, companies normally need certainty. They need to know that policies are unchanging and a new...
Did she not see the cavalcade of people over the last couple of weeks that have come to the White House? I'm going to open business here. Again, contrast and lies. She's always in the press conferences. I recognize her. She's always there. She had to have seen Tim Cook. She had to have seen the Business Roundtable. She had to have seen the huge announcement in terms of crypto and what these people were just putting in tens and hundreds of billions of that. She had to have seen it. But she can't tell the truth because the liberals who watch her stuff, she has to keep them in the dark. It's going to be okay. He's going to fail. And America's going to suck, just like we want it. Because that's what they want to hear. Unfortunately.
Survey, John, of CEOs this month finds that they are more pessimistic about the state of the economy than they have been at any time since the start of the pandemic.
Okay, Nancy Cordes at the White House. Thank you.
Meanwhile, this is CNN Breaking News.
We begin this hour with the breaking news. The Consumer Price Index shows annual inflation at 2.8%, the first time it has slowed in some 4 months. Let's begin with this new report on inflation here in the United States. What's the headline?
Well, this is welcome news for consumers. Prices in February fell for the first time in 4 months. Prices in February...
I thought somebody just told me that the prices didn't fall and I should be truthful with my math. Interesting. One day after the CBS report, this comes out and makes them look completely stupid. It makes other people look completely stupid. Nationally, there's been huge economic news.
Month over month increased about 0.2%, and on an annual basis, 2.8%. So that's encouraging news for consumers. We saw in this report that shelter, that is rent, made up half of all increases in the report, but we did see decreases on things like gas.
Finally, we have some good news on the economy and really the number one issue for many Americans, the cost of living. So we just learned that consumer prices in February increased by 2.8% year over year, 0.2% month over month. Both of these figures were a step in the right direction, and both were better than expected. So this is definitely very encouraging to see, because it's going to, I think, relieve some fears that inflation was perhaps re-accelerating, because this actually breaks a streak of 4 straight months where I think you could see it on the
Ooh, the contrast. That's my word of the day, contrast. When you can look at numbers pre-January 20 and look at numbers post-January 20, and it's only, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Look, don't take my word for it. The reason why I used CNN in these 2 clips is because it's easy to use Fox Business. It's easy to use Fox News. This is CNN going, oh, crap. The numbers don't lie, do they? No. Look at the graph. The contrast is going to kill the Democrat Party. Oh, that's a commercial. Just like the big, beautiful chart that he always talked about. And he's like, here's what it was when I was in office, and look what happened when I left office. And that big, beautiful chart that saved his life was something he used in every single campaign rally. Because there's such a contrast. Look, I had nobody. He let everybody in. Now it's exactly the same. You've got a chart that goes, look. Look at what it was. Now all of a sudden, you're seeing the difference. Has it not been happening in your particular neck of the woods? Maybe not. But it's happening nonetheless.
All the way to the right, where the inflation rate was going in the wrong direction, right? It was going higher and higher. Finally, we're seeing it dip.
So right now, we have the right moment, the right time. Manufacturing is back. If you believe that a supply chain bringing parts of cars across the border with Mexico or Canada 7 times, and this is efficient, this is not. This is insanity. We got to build in America. We got to produce things here, employ Americans, and be happy with everybody.
Lowering the.
I thought the lady from CBS just said people are freaking out and they're going to have to see certain things before they start doing business with America. Pretty sure that's what she just said. Just remember the word as you're talking to your liberal friends, contrast. What happened that all of a sudden all of these companies and businesses want to do business in America?
Temperature, deliberately.
Well said. We're going to lower the temperature. You know, he thought he'd be sort of the big man and tackle Donald Trump, but you know you can't tackle Donald Trump. He is the most important, the smartest, the most capable leader in the world.
He did it again. The guys in the audience, you know what he just said. He thought you was good. You thought you were a big man. There's no doubt why he's saying it that way. He's letting other big men. You gotta like that. Seriously, you want to come step? You want to step to us? We got the biggest economy in the world. We got the money. You want to take us on? You think you're a big man? Do it. Watch what happens. That's what he just said. He said, and previously, we had to break him. Look how fast it took. The guy Ford from Canada, within he came out and said, we're going to do this and do that. And Trump said, okay. Oh, hey, I didn't know you was going to hit me like that. I didn't know you were I thought you was like Biden. I didn't know. No, I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I'm not here to negotiate. I'm here to break you. That's going to offend some people. I know there's probably people here that are offended by that. No, you mistook this for a negotiation. I'm here to break you. I don't like what you've done. I don't like what you've been doing to America for some time, and so I'm not here to play with you. When I said I want you as a 51st state, that's pretty much what I hope to see happen. And in order for that to happen, what do I have to do? I have to break you. I have to make sure I break your will to the point where you don't feel comfortable standing up to me ever again. And I bet you we won't hear Mr. Ford from Ontario ever again say something like that.
And he's not going to let someone push him around. You know, the right answer is, if you take a step back, what does the president want? He wants to worry about major things for national security of America. Steel and aluminum tariffs, that's today, right? Autos coming April 2nd, semiconductors, pharmaceuticals, things that America must have. So you can imagine these are the kind of tariffs we're going to make sure these things come back to America and are built in America. And then on April 2nd, he does his reciprocal tariffs, which basically say to all the countries in the world, come on, you treat us a certain way, we'll treat you the same way. Let's make it fair. You want them high, they'll be high like they are now. You want them low, they'll be low, but let's treat each other fairly. And that's where we're going. Pretty basic, pretty straightforward.